This product looked completely harmless. Clean, familiar, and trusted. The kind of thing people pour every single day without even thinking. But one tiny mistake inside a factory quietly turned it into something dangerous. And the scariest part is this: nobody saw it happening. Not the workers, not the inspectors, and not the families who bought it. Because when modern factories fail, they don't always fail loudly. Sometimes they fail silently, and everything still looks normal. If you live in the United States and you've ever used everyday food without a second thought, this story matters to you. The danger didn't start in a kitchen. It didn't start at a grocery store. It started far away, inside a factory that believed everything was under control. This is Invisible Factory. Inside modern food factories, safety depends on precision. Temperatures are monitored constantly, pipes are cleaned on strict schedules, sensors track every step of production, alarms are designed to stop everything the moment something goes wrong. These systems exist to protect people who will never see this factory or the machines inside it. And most of the time, they work. For years, this factory followed the same process without problems. The food moved through heated stainless steel pipes, harmful bacteria were eliminated, and the product was cooled, sealed, and shipped. Millions of people trusted it every day without question. That trust is exactly why what happened next was so dangerous. On what looked like a completely normal production day, one temperature sensor drifted slightly out of alignment. It wasn't broken, it didn't trigger an alarm, it didn't shut the system down, it was only off by a few degrees. That small change didn't seem important. The readings still looked acceptable. The system continued running. But in food processing, a few degrees can mean everything. Heat is part of the process. Heat is protection. When that protection drops even a little, bacteria can survive. And that survival doesn't announce itself. It doesn't create smoke. It doesn't make noise. It simply continues existing where it shouldn't. The factory kept producing. Machines filled containers as usual. Quality checks showed no visible issues. Everything smelled normal. Everything looked normal. The system trusted the sensor, and the people trusted the system. Before we go further, if you find stories like this interesting, subscribe to Invisible Factory. This channel focuses on the hidden risks behind everyday products, the kind of stories most people never hear until something goes wrong. Now, here's the part that makes this story personal. The product was milk. Not something rare or unusual. Milk. The same milk poured into cereal, added to coffee, and given to children every day. The factory used a pasteurization process designed to make milk safe. Pasteurization works when time and temperature are exact, but because the sensor was slightly wrong, the milk didn't reach the required heat for long enough. It still looked fine, it still tasted fine, but it was no longer fully safe. Thousands of containers left the factory. They were packed, loaded onto trucks, and delivered across multiple states. Grocery stores stocked them without concern. Shoppers picked them up without hesitation. Nothing on the packaging suggested danger. Nothing about the product raised suspicion. Later, in kitchens across the country, people used it like they always had. By the time anyone realized there was a problem, the milk had already been consumed. What makes failures like this terrifying is that the factory didn't completely break. It worked exactly as it was programmed to. The system believed everything was fine because the data told it so. Automation is powerful, but when it's wrong, it can fail quietly and efficiently at the same time. When investigators reviewed the factory records, they didn't see chaos. They saw clean logs, normal ranges, and completed checklists. The sensor wasn't obviously faulty, it was just inaccurate enough to pass unnoticed. That small inaccuracy moved through the entire production line without resistance. This is why trust breaks so deeply when things like this happen. People don't feel like they witnessed an accident, they feel betrayed, especially when the product involved is something so familiar and widely used. If this surprised you, type the word invisible in the comments. Most people assume factory safety systems are foolproof. Stories like this show how fragile they can be when a single layer quietly fails. After incidents like this, factories respond by adding more sensors, more verification steps, and more automation. That helps, but it also adds complexity, and complexity creates more places where small failures can hide. The truth is, this wasn't caused by a bad worker or reckless behavior. It was caused by a system that looked perfect while it was slowly doing something wrong. Next time you use a product that feels completely safe, remember this. Somewhere far away, machines you'll never see are making decisions on your behalf. Most of the time, they protect you, but sometimes a tiny mistake is all it takes to change everything. If this story made you think differently, share this video with someone who buys groceries for their family. Awareness matters more than people realize. In the next video, we'll look at another everyday product where a silent factory failure didn't just cause illness, it triggered nationwide panic. It wasn't food, and it's something almost everyone keeps in their home. So subscribe to Invisible Factory and tell me in the comments which everyday product you trust the most. Sometimes the most dangerous failures are the ones that look perfectly normal.